We have reached now the final reading. He's been incredibly patient, this Peter. Peter Unwin, nominated for his book of short stories entitled Life Without Death. It chronicles the journeys we take over the course of our lives, the brief moments, chance encounters, careless words that resonate through time. Peter's previous writing has been well received. He was shortlisted for the Stephen Leacock Memorial Medal for Humor, and the praise for this latest collection is no less effusive. The Trillium jury wrote, Peter Unwin demonstrates how narrative, humor, and pathos emerge from character and incidents, excelling in his portrayals of human idiosyncrasy and contradiction. Unwin's prose turns on a dime, and his stories swerve sharply as carnival rides, skirting the edges of central truths. Peter Unwin.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. That's important. Thanks for staying. This is a story about a woman who falls in love with the word salient, and it's about her husband who loves her deeply and fears that he is losing her to the word salient. So he does what you or I would do. He goes to the local poet who's hanging out at the local tavern and asks for help. The poet agrees to write a sonnet that he guarantees will cure the problem. The poet's name is Harold Curry, and the man's name is Bill. The next evening, my father reswept himself back into the tavern and found Harold Curry sitting at the same glossy black table with a mug of beer at his elbow. The poet delved into one of the many pockets in his vest, removed a business envelope, slapped it down, and pinged it across the table with his forefinger. "Is it a sonnet?" said my father. Harold frowned. "I tried the sonnet, Bill. I did. Sonnets are good, but they're not good for everything. I mean, they're not a blank check, are they?" "No," said my father, faltering. I guess they're not." "What we really need to do," said Harold, "is cut to the chase, and for that you need a quatrain." "A quatrain?" My father could barely conceal his disappointment. "Quatrain, absolutely. The last thing we want to do here, Bill, is lose focus. That's the weakness of the sonnet. It's prone to drifting. For you, the quatrain is the way to go." "You think so?" said my father. "I don't think so, Bill. I know it." My father nodded. He was starting to gain confidence in the quatrain already. "How long will it take?" "Well, that's the beauty of the quatrain, Bill. You'll see improvements right away. Deep-rooted core stuff might take longer. 2-3 days, I'm not sure. But by the end of the week, your wife will be as good as new. Take it home, Bill. Spruce it up. Put a ribbon around the envelope. She'll be begging you for mercy." My father did not appear convinced. "Trust me," said Harold. "I'm a poet." My father did more than put a ribbon around the envelope. He constructed an 8.5-inch frame from black walnut, cut a glass sheet cover, and had the secretary at work retype the quatrain on her IBM Selectric. She thoughtfully double-struck each letter for him. The following day, after a serving of lamb shanks, my father presented his package to my mother. "For me?" she said innocently, tugging at the colored paper, relieved to find that he had not given her yet another framed photograph of herself. "It's a quatrain!" shouted my father. My mother's lips parted. "Oh, Bill," she said, and read it out loud. "In praise of a salient woman. Forget the schmucks who came and went, who read some books but were not intent on you, my wife, furnace of my contentment, who stokes my life and makes it salient." "Oh, Bill, that's definitely going up on the wall." She got up and immediately fastened the frame above their bed with an upholstery tack. That night, my parents turned off the television before the weather was completely over. In bed, my father felt his arms to be strong as oak trees. His lips extended like the perimeter of a fort. His chest leapt like a stag. He was in a state of jetting forth, of capering in all directions. My father was noticeable. He stood out. He was conspicuous. He was salient. 9 months later, they had me. Thank you very much.
Peter, wonderful. What a way to conclude. Life Without Death, published by Cormorant Books. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our final reading for tonight. Would you please join me in thanking all of our authors and congratulating them again? Just extraordinary talent. We are fortunate, we see it every year in this province, to have an abundance of brilliant writers who never fail to impress. Vos œuvres mettent vraiment en valeur ce soir la qualité et la diversité des écrivains de la province. J'aimerais vous inviter encore une fois à acheter un des livres, même plusieurs livres ce soir. C'est le temps, of course. C'est la lecture estivale. Ben McNally Books is set up after those readings. Who doesn't want to have one or even all of the collection? So they're back there. May I remind you, and you get that fabulous bonus gift of the OMDC tote this year. When you have more time, if you want to absorb a little bit more, if you have authors that are your new favorites, those interviews are posted on OMDC's YouTube channel, which is OMDC Online, and you can look at those, as I say, at your leisure. That's the end of the formal part, but the food is coming, so we invite you to mix and mingle, buy your books. Maybe the authors will sign your copies. That's always a very nice thing. We wish them all the very best of luck tomorrow night when we will be back in this very room on this very stage to announce the winners of the 27th Trillium Book Award. I'm so excited because I'm going to be hosting that part as well, so I'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you all for coming. What a wonderful night, wonderful readings to our authors. See you tomorrow. Good night, everyone.